Yeah, the interesting thing about lions is that I want to know more about them. But in order to know more about them, I would definitely need to go to Africa to actually see them, like living in the wild instead of the ones in zoos. Because now from what I've heard, from what I've learned through documentaries and through testimonies, rogue lions wander about, usually in bands or in groups, like maybe groups of brothers, of like maybe 2 or 3 lions or something. And then they're wandering around trying to, like, they will hunt for themselves, and then they would try to find a pride, like they would try to claim their own territory. Like if there's literally no competition or there's no lion around or no huge hyena clans around, then they can basically just take over the territory without having to fight anyone. you know what I'm saying? That's the easiest path. Obviously, natural creatures will take the easiest path if they could. That's what they would do. I mean, lions, they give people this this impression that they are lazy, indolent, but I guess they are. I mean, most creatures in nature can be indolent. I mean, if they didn't have to do anything, they wouldn't want to do it. That's the point. If they could effortlessly fulfill a goal, they would do it. I honestly do not believe that my goals were common. Yeah, my goal, if I could, my goal is to become the sole god, the highest god, and rule over everything. It is my goal. That's why I'm so passionate about learning about the truth. I have to get to the bottom of stuff, and then I'm gonna force, like, I'm basically just gonna force those meddlers to tell me all about this world and other worlds as well. My goal is literally much larger than most people, because in media, where there's fiction, right? Where there's fiction, you can see within the fictional stories that ambitious characters are often classified as evil. Have you not noticed? The most ambitious characters, like Lord Vern in Dragon Quest Dai's Big Adventure or whatever, Lord Vern was trying to rule over all the realms and to destroy humanity. He had the greatest ambition. He had the greatest ambition. And yet, because of his ambitions, because he wanted to rule, all the worlds, he's defined as evil. It's the same for like Scar. Scar wanted to be the ruler. Okay, Scar wanted to rule Pride Lands. He was ambitious. He wanted to do it. He was not. I don't know why though. It's like, the Lion King though. It has so many loopholes. it has so many plot holes, such as Simba. You know what? Simba, as a young cub, was exiled by Scar. And he went to this paradise full of bugs and animals and other animals where there's no responsibility and full of greenery. He could just eat all the bugs he liked and he didn't have to do anything. He said he didn't want to do anything, right? He always said Hakuna Matata while he was there with Timon and Pumbaa. So he was obviously, he was obviously not a fighter. Just to let you know, he was living in peace with other animals, and he had literally no fighting or hunting experience whatsoever. Like at least it was so in the film. In the film, Simba had never fought anyone except Nala as an adult. I mean, he just grew up, and then he fought Nala, and Nala literally destroyed him right? And Nala was a lioness, for God's sake, and she destroyed him because she was obviously more experienced. She was a hunter, you know. Yeah, she hunted for food as a lioness with her pride, and Simba literally never hunted. He just ate bugs. This is for real. And then yeah, it's quite surprising though. I was wondering, like, obviously as an adult I don't know how many bugs he ate to survive, to have such a strong body, because he was, I mean, Mufasa was more heavily built, but I don't know how many bugs he ate to be able to sustain his weight or something, to maintain his weight or something. I don't know. But anyhow, he fought Nala. He was destroyed by Nala, and then Nala, Rafiki, and the soul of Mufasa, or the spirit of Mufasa, brought him back to Pride and then yeah, I mean, he literally never fought a hyena in his life, like. Ever since he was a cub, like he was a really young cub, and he survived the hyena experience, but it's like he didn't have any fighting experience, like, you know. And then he went back to challenge Scar, and then he got ganged upon by a whole clan of hyenas or what have you. And I didn't know how he was able to fight the hyenas and then afterwards fight Scar and then win against Scar. Like, I know all he had was, like, he had youth. Okay, he had youth on his side, and I don't know why his build was more like, simply like more muscular than Scar's, which is kind of odd because from what I've seen, like, not in a cartoon though, I mean in a live action, in a cartoon, Scar was made to be a bit effeminate, if you know what I'm saying. So I can kind of understand, maybe he just lacked testosterone. I don't know, like, maybe he just lacked testosterone, you know. And then but in the live action though, he seemed to be like ambitious and masculine. But then somehow, okay, this is a miracle as well. I don't know if it's a terrible miracle or something. The miracle was that he was the one seen eating first as the king in Pride Lands, while he made the lionesses do the hunting. Okay, the lionesses hunted, and then he ate first, and towards the end of his reign, he punished the lionesses by making them eat after the hyenas, you know. But either way, he was the one who ate first, but he literally never ever gained weight. Okay, he never gained weight. Towards the end of his reign, he was just as scrawny as the beginning. It's kind of like, how on earth is this even a thing? You know, Scar feasted on like the whole Pride Lands. Okay, like based on the live action, he feasted on the whole Pride Lands, and he was just as scrawny towards the end of his reign than as the beginning. So I was like, where did the food go? You know, maybe he just had this metabolism or something, right? And then, okay, right, if you have actually read about the story of Scar, like, I don't know if you have seen the Mufasa story, you know, because there's a new film based on the Lion King, and the title is Mufasa, so it's about Mufasa's story, like the relationship between Mufasa and Scar, you know, and why is Scar called Scar, you know, when did he gain the scar and stuff like that, you know. It's so funny. I mean, Scar was obviously a very experienced fighter. Okay, he was so much more experienced than Simba. I mean, even though he was much older then, I still thought it wouldn't be that easy to just take down Scar. So the cartoon, in fact, you know, in the cartoon, right? In a cartoon, Scar was beating Simba hands down until towards towards the end when Simba just used that move and kicked him off the ledge, you know, and I'd be like, okay, that was a total fluke. I'm telling you, it was a fluke. Like Scar was winning. I expected Scar to win, but in the live action though, it seems to me like as if Simba was winning easily, like more easily than I expected. I mean, yeah, I couldn't explain like Simba's build compared to Scar's, because Scar was the one feasting on the whole Pride Lands. He was the one feasting on the whole Pride Lands, and Simba was eating bugs, literally. I don't know, and then obviously, I don't know where Simba's muscles came from as well, because he was not seen training or fighting at all. He was not hunting. Like, where on earth did he get his muscles and strength, you know? I am surprised. I mean, okay, the live action was more exciting simply because it's not in cartoon style. But then it also explains kind of like in the cartoon, right? In the cartoon, Scar KO'd Zazu. He KO'd Zazu, and then it explains like he had to KO Zazu, but he did it in a way that Zazu didn't know if it was Scar who did it, because Zazu was turned his back against Scar, so he didn't know, I suppose. But in the live action, Scar literally told Zazu to get help from the Pride. I was like, why would he want to do that though? Yeah, I mean, he could have just not said anything. Yeah, he could have just not said anything, because if Zazu brought back lionesses, yeah, then they could have witnessed his actions. You know, that's the point. I mean, if I was Scar, I wouldn't do that. If you know what I'm saying. And then also, I found that Shenzi was buffed in the live action film, because in the cartoon she was pretty much useless, if you know what I'm saying. Like Shenzi, the matriarch, in the cartoon she was pretty much useless, and she was like incompetent and couldn't do anything like in a cartoon. But then in a live action though, she was able to talk to Scar in a more... Oh, look. The seagulls, they were I think were they fighting just a while ago? Let me see. Yeah, so what was I talking about earlier? Oh yeah, the Shenzi is my favorite character in The Lion King. I mean, I rewatch it just to see Shenzi more often, you know, especially the live action where she was very well animated, I think. She took on Nala towards the end, and she was able to talk to the lions, including Scar, with more authority, with more, like, being more assertive than she was in the cartoon, you know. And then she literally challenged Nala in some sort of single combat duel, if you know what I'm saying. It's like, okay, Shenzi was the one leading the charge in what, The Lion King 3 or The Lion King 1.5. You know, like, at least they were trying to redeem Shenzi's character, because the original cartoon Shenzi was just, you know, she was just incompetent. Yeah, you know. And then even when she was talking to Scar, she was much more diplomatic and in a more submissive way, if you know what I'm saying. But in the live action film though, she and also her clanmates, her male clanmates, like they were gonna eat Scar in the beginning. Maybe we should eat you instead, you know. in the beginning it seemed to me that as if the hyenas didn't really like lions as much. Like Scar was not that special, if you know what I'm saying. Like in the cartoon though, Scar was kind of special. It's like, oh, it's just you. Oh, you're so much better than Mufasa. It's like, okay, it seems to me that they had some sort of relationship before we actually, like, before the story even started, if you know what I'm saying. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to actually observing and following animals in the wild. Like, I want to get to know them better than just watching documentaries and listening to testimonies and what have you. The Lion King is not a documentary. However, people, like the people who worked there, who worked to make the movie happen, or worked to animate the story, they did try to research African wildlife. Although, of course, as you can see, it is not a documentary. It is a musical. It is a musical, not a documentary, and it's not reflecting real wildlife situations. It's more like an allegory, if you know what I'm saying. But it inspires questions. Yeah, it inspires questions about, you know, animals in general. Like, for example, do lions and hyenas talk to each other? Have you ever thought about that? Like, you would say, no, they don't talk, animals don't talk. Yes, they do talk, they just communicate in a way that we humans do not understand. Okay, but they do communicate. Like, it's a fact that they communicate in some ways. The point is, do animals communicate within their species, or do they communicate with other species as well? So it seems to me in a way that humans are less developed, less developed than other animals in terms of interspecies communication, because we humans have lost, I think we have lost the ability to understand animals, understand other species. But if you look at wild animals, even if we were watching documentaries, I could see that animals seem to instinctively know what each other mean, even if they were across a species, if you know what I'm saying. So, for example, as I said before, a leopard walking through a herd of wildebeest, and the wildebeest did not move. Yeah, the wildebeest did not move at all. They were just grazing as normal. Yeah, they were just grazing as normal, and then they were just grazing as normal, the wildebeest, and the leopard was just walking through the herd. Have you wondered why they were not moving? I was told that they knew the leopard was not in the mood to hunt. It's not hunting, it's just walking. Yeah. I'm just gonna see the club, and then I say, well, I'm gonna sort out my membership or what have you. But let me tell you this, I believe animals do communicate within interspecies. We've literally seen like cats and dogs and even rabbits being able to get along for a little while at least. So there is some sort of communication going on between the species. But this is, I believe it's because animals' senses are different from ours, and their senses are normally so acute that they are able to communicate through scent, chemicals, voices. Okay, let me... Yeah, they're able to communicate through sounds, chemicals, scent, body language, facial expressions. Yeah, to some extent, yeah. And I don't know if they have some sort of other kinds of communication, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you never know. You never know how they, like, there may be a special kind of communication